nailed it best. I think that was, I listened to his interview multiple times, and I thought that was powerful. I even, took some things that he said, and it was like, damn, that's big. And so props to him and he knows, Junior knows, right? And not sugarcoating anything. I think we're such in a soft world right now that, you can't yell at me, you can't talk to me like that. But yes, I was raised a certain way that made you tough, and you got to figure it out. Sometimes it's the hard way, and it sucks. Tucking your tail between your legs is one of the hardest things to do when you've made a mistake, but it needs to be done sometimes because that respect goes a lot further than just saying you're sorry after the fact.
So what's the balance between having Cup drivers in 7 Xfinity races, between having the entire season? Where would you like to see that number in terms of allowing you guys to go down to a lower series?
I think, I look at there's nothing better than winning. And when you're in Truck Series and Xfinity Series, finding your way and battling through it all, there happens to be a Cup guy. Well, now you just have something else to focus on, right? When you have your shot, where your trucks or your cars are really, really good, and you can, thank you. You're like, oh, okay. Doesn't matter how good my stuff is, I still got to beat the Cup guy. And so there's a little bit extra there. And when you show your cars that you can beat Cup guys pay attention. And there's nothing like getting out of the car and shaking a Cup guy's hand. Like, good job, you beat me, keep it up. And I think that is something that I strived for when I was racing in the Truck Series, racing against Kyle. I think there's only one guy to beat Larson at Homestead in the truck race, right? Looking at it, so he was Cup by then, right? So that was cool. If we do, we do. It's okay.
Bubba, your pit crew's been lights out the past couple of weeks, and after having a few years of that kind of like being a talking point with your team, having great runs, and a bad pit stop happens, what changed with the pit crew? Because you talked about your mentality shifting. What happened with the team, with the pit crew to be as good as they are?
I don't know, but it's working. No, it's a lot of hard work from I was being greedy and seeing the potential that we have in some of our guys from the start. We just weren't executing to said potential, right? And so it seemed like it would bite us in the most inopportune times. And so now we're at a level to where we are being looked at and being studied, and it's nice to be in that category, and that's from being in the pits and on the racetrack as well. So we're hitting on all cylinders now. We're going to have our mess ups. We're going to have our slow stops. It's how you rebound the next stop, and I think we have the mental capacity and damn sure the skill to overcome it and get us right back to where we need to be. We've had a couple missteps, but they're good enough to not show it, and you don't really see it in the data. So that's what's beneficial for us.
How was your little media tour you did this week? The different radio shows?
Oh, yeah, I went to New York. I forgot. Yeah. What happens when you have a kid? You forget a lot of things. That's cool. Announcing Robin Hood was big for us, and bringing in a new sponsor to the sport is massive. So the sport's continuing to evolve. Our team, everybody at 2311, is putting in the work to attract sponsors, and we're delivering on track performances to make them want to be a part of it. So it's fun.
So how do you look at Darlington in tracks you feel comfortable with, tracks you're learning, might be good at, but still trying to figure out, where do you put this track?
Yeah, well, I'd say stats show it's decent, right? I love coming here. I remember showing up here the first time and being like, oh, another racetrack. Hell no, it ain't another racetrack. This is Darlington. And so I did not give the respect that it is due and struggled. But ever since we jumped in the Cup car, though, it's been pretty fun and challenging and being able to learn. So I feel like we executed to our potential today. Unfortunately, it's good enough for fifth. I'm optimistic in our chances tomorrow. You show up to a racetrack where you have decent success. Hopefully that breeds it, but you never know. You still got to go out and earn it.
Going off of what you said a minute ago about your mental approach, a lot has been made on your different approach for this year. What would you tell yourself from a year ago today?
Be less of an asshole. I don't know. You guys can confirm that, maybe? What are you saying, Cliff? No, yeah. It's just showing up and not putting so much pressure on myself and carrying that. Before qualifying, if I'm in the car, I'm thinking of 1,000 different things, right, on how to execute, and it wasn't good enough. But all in all, it's okay. I get to go back to the bus now and hang out with my kid and and figure out what we're going to do for dinner. So it's all good.
How much has fatherhood helped that new approach?
Well, my wife doesn't really care that I've had a bad day on the racetrack because she's tired of being with him and changing the diapers. So she hands it off to me, and I'm like, okay, I got to forget about that and focus on this. So, no, we're having fun. He's 6 months now. He's sitting up at the table eating normal food somewhat. The poops are getting bad. I had to tap out. Struggling.
You were busting. Was it Blaney this week about taking care of the baby or making the baby cry?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know who he was referring to as calling him daddy. It damn sure wasn't me.
No, that was crazy.
Yeah, right. But the fans chirped in. Some fan come up with a good retweet on that one. So
That's fun.
I think the fans won that conversation.
Well, is there something you can learn from the spring race here that you can take into Southern 500 weekend?
Yeah, I mean, pace is really fast compared to a year ago. And so we just have to see how that translates to tomorrow. I think I'll have a better answer post-race to figure out what would be different. But, I mean, it's Darlington, the track's wearing out, and figuring out how to pass and making your car last longer than others is still the name of the game. So there'll be more fine details post-race to figure out.
Bubba, last year you did a Legends race at Charlotte and approached a young driver who you weren't happy with. And with after last week in Martinsville, seeing what we saw, in your opinion, where
are you going with this?
What are these young kids learning this stuff at? These driving habits, in your opinion?
Man, I mean, we've had our fair share of bad cup races, right? The Clash, for example, is chaos, but it's an entertainment business. People up in the suites love to see it. Not love to see it. There's a lot, but it's an entertainment business. We were told that, and so you have to put your foot down to figure out how you want it to be perceived. And I think what we saw Saturday night was it caught me by surprise, and I think it was so bad about it. I think it caught everybody in this room and everybody in the garage by surprise, because I feel like we somewhat know Sammy, and I haven't seen the on-track stuff that he's had. Now, granted, I could be missing a whole different side of the story, but I thought Taylor played his cards perfectly right, keeping him on the outside and then getting away. And off of turn 2, hell, I was like, oh, turn off TV, it's over with, and it was like, holy cow. So to answer your question, where it comes from, I don't know, because blaming it on the Cup guys, I mean, we wouldn't tolerate it, for a second. And I do think the lack of Cup experience in the Xfinity and truck races plays a factor. I remember having run-ins and whatnot, and I thought Todd was staring me down for some reason. Thought he wanted to go. But I remember having run-ins with Cup guys and having the finger pointed at, like, hey, you need to do better and grow up. Harvick, for example, you stop crashing shit, and they don't have that. They're all buddies. They're all friends. They don't have any leadership, elder statesman, Allgaier, right? But it's just tough. It's a tough sport, and unfortunately, you realize the bad after it's already happened. And so we'll see how Sammy changes from it. But a lot of respect was lost for him, not only for myself, but a lot of peers that I've talked to.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
What's up? Michael Massey here, Frontstretch.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.